Hi, I'm Sarah. We have already set our intentions and our prayers for this session, so enjoy and learn.
How will a world of open borders affect our cultures?
Marvelously.
Yay! I'm glad to
There
hear
will
that.
be, when such a thing should happen, there would be much joy in learning about each other's cultures. And for those of you who are so many generations from the original culture or cultures, then you'll be fascinated by learning about the different cultures that help to produce you. And it'll just be a huge global party, nonstop. At least I would assume so.
What's keeping that from happening?
Many things.
I have some ideas, but I'd just like to have your take on
I
it.
think your ideas are probably spot on. Your, not just the cultures, but humanity itself is close to splitting off. There are many who are enlightened enough that things are moving more positively, shall we say. However, there's so much fear everywhere. And fear feeds the anger and the distrust and the violence and all of that. But rest assured, the day is coming when those who are desirous of peace and love, they will experience that and no longer have anything, any remote ideas even of what it used to be like, of all that negativity.
Yay! In that book I read on aliens, that is what some of the self-serving ones attempt to do, is incite fear in us.
Yeah, and they seem to be quite successful.
Oh yeah, they seem to be. To pull our energies down, to keep us from moving on to our next level of enlightenment as a planet.
Sad to say, they are even successful with those who should know better.
Yes.
Those in positions of leadership or, shall we say, education, who allow the fear to color what they impart.
Yeah. I see a lot of that going on in the world. Fear is a basic cause, I think, of strife on the earth.
Oh, yes.
Because fear has so many tentacles. This is another future question, but I'll ask it anyhow.
Alrighty.
After open contact, will humans still need to rely on farming and agriculture for food, or will ET show us a new source of food? Both.
Pretty much both.
That's what I thought.
Because there are people who enjoy getting into the ground and assisting the seedlings to sprout and provide the food, the nourishment that the physical bodies need. And there are others who enjoy preparing it and seeing to it that everyone has what they want and is satisfied. And saying this for Sarah's benefit, people will be enlightened enough that they will know when they have had enough of the different types of nourishment that their body requires. In other words, there will be no overeating, no getting stuffed and then,
Food comas. Huh?
yeah. It'll be the way it's always been meant to be.
That is good. In case you didn't notice, I have a problem with weight. Too much of it.
A little sarcasm there, and I know you're not amenable to sarcasm.
Yes, that is true.
But you got that one.
But I accept. At times I can accept it because I understand it. There's other times I believe the person is speaking of a truth instead of a falsehood being presented as a truth. So I get confused on those.
From your point of view, that's quite understandable.
Yes.
Yes.
It has been reported that the core of the Earth is starting to reverse its spin. Is that true?
Probably. It does that. It's part of Gaia's cycles.
What can we expect when she does that?
Not much.
Explain, please.
It happens so frequently, people just aren't aware of it.
No catechisms.
Cataclysm.
Yes, that word.
No catastrophic. Boy, we sure pick on the cats.
Well, that's why he's not here.
Yeah. It's so a part of Gaia's cycles and has been happening repeatedly over the millennia. People aren't aware of it. It's just another thing scientists are discovering and learning about, and then they get scared. Oh no. And they scare the public as well.
Now, Tesla figured this out. So this is opening this up for the general population. He figured out how to reincarnate or incarnate again with his memories intact or almost intact. Is that something anyone can do?
The day may come when those who are enlightened enough are able to do so, if they so desire. Right now, I would say no.
Okay.
There have been a handful of ascended masters, most of whom elected not to reincarnate. But those who did it experimentally to see if they could retain all their experiences, all their memories, all their abilities. And for the most part, they were successful. Again, it was deep meditations, stating intentions, focusing on that with all of their being. It's quite a trick.
Does the Dalai Lama do that?
No, because he doesn't really want to.
Okay. Is it a reincarnated? Of course, all souls reincarnated. Is he the reincarnated version of the previous?
The Dalai Lamas generally are continuation of the oversoul that produces them. And so they can retain some of their memories. Sometimes they meditate and can get answers from, shall we say, past incarnations.
Well, concurrent, since there is no past.
Right. So in effect, your question, simple answer to your question would be yes.
Okay. how is it first contact? How is first contact moving forward and accelerating if we are at war?
It's not. Well, at least it's not where it could be. Let me go into more detail. As you know, it isn't first contact.
Yes, I know.
Right.
It's open contact.
Yes, and it's been happening for, again, millennia.
Yes.
And then it quieted and pulled inward, shall we say, a little because of where humanity was going. That's probably the Industrial Revolution. She just popped that into my head. That could well be when so much, when contact was quieted, because the globe, humanity, had become way too noisy. Individuals were no longer even thinking of that. They were only thinking of inventions and convenience and what can this do for me, and getting involved in it. There were always the handful of a few who were still focused on inward development, not outward. But that kind of slowed the whole process down, shall we say. And it is picking up again. Which is why open contact is so much nearer than it was even 10 years ago, in your way of thinking. And it keeps rapidly improving. But over the past, what would that be? Because it started to pick up again about a century ago.
Okay.
And it's proceeding at a faster pace now.
Excellent.
But we have had several wars in the past century, so how was that?
The wars are, believe it or not, allowing the common folk to realize how futile they are. How dangerous they are. What's the word I'm looking for?
Let me know if you want some help.
From you?
Yes.
Words?
Misguided.
Oh, misguided is a good word. Thank you very much.
Words from me, huh?
Yeah. I'm impressed. Just poking fun. But yeah, how misguided they are. How fruitless they are. They don't accomplish anything except helping to clear out a lot of negative people, but that's kind of like a parenthetical part. But generally speaking, the vast majority of humanity knows that wars are useless. They're a waste of resources.
And lives.
And,
Resources.
Lives are resources,
Well,
yes.
to me, a life is more precious than a resource. But that just...
All resources are precious. Look at the water problem.
Yeah.
It's a very precious
I'm sorry,
resource.
I interrupted you.
But that's okay. I think you get my drift.
Yeah, I'm drifting on the water.
You wish.
Not Lake Michigan, though.
Oh, no. Actually, there's very few places on your planet left that are idyllic, shall we
Yes.
say. Few water resources that are good to be drifting on. But anyway, yes, so wars, even the ridiculous and more violent ones that are occurring recently now on your planet, they're simply power grabs by so-called leadership that is afraid of losing their power because they are. It's being whittled away, but they're not enlightened enough to see it that way.
How do we help them to become more enlightened? I know it's a personal choice to become more enlightened, but we have to pick away at the shadows around them so they can know there is enlightenment out there. How do we do that?
For many of them, it can't be done, say, one-on-one or by just sitting them down and telling them about things. But as those who are enlightened continue to send out their love and acceptance and forgiveness, eventually, a little bit at a time, they'll come around. It won't happen all at once, but that's a good start. Okay. And that will have an effect. It may not seem like it on your day-to-day existences, but it has an effect.
Okay. Now there is something that I call a rumor, though only because I'm an engineer, and it hasn't been verified on the Earth, that the Greys manipulated DNA until they created Homo sapien.
The Greys?
Yeah.
It wasn't the Greys.
Then who did? Anunnaki?
Yes.
How long did it take them to perfect that?
I think it was a few thousand years. Maybe several thousand. In your way of reckoning.
Yeah. Do you have access to the process they used?
I don't want to have access to that.
That's a good answer. I don't want to either.
Wow.
I'm just asking, see what side you were on. As if I didn't already know.
I should hope you would.
I already know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the Greys manipulated their own DNA to the point where they couldn't reproduce anymore.
Yeah. How can we see auras? So I know some people can see them naturally without a problem. Sarah and I had contact with one of those folks. But how do those of us who cannot see them develop it?
If you seriously want to develop it, it takes much meditation.
What would the intention of the meditation be?
To be able to see other people's auras.
Okay.
And to know whether or not you want to actually see someone's aura.
Why do you say that?
You need to be discerning.
True.
Right. But technically speaking, all of these types of abilities are latent within individual humans.
Yes. How do we unlock them?
By meditating, by learning more and more about what an aura is, about what all the different abilities are, about how to use your inner senses as opposed to your outer. And being willing to take time, primarily to learn how to love, accept, be compassionate and helpful. And I come back to that, be accepting of others. The more you accept others, no matter what they seem to be demonstrating to you, the more you accept them and love them and are compassionate and helpful, as much as they're willing to accept, or even if they want any help. And as long as you're doing that, at the same time, you will be learning how to be discerning, and you will be learning how to use your inner senses, and you'll be learning about the different abilities. It all goes hand in hand.